Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. Thought we would do a quick chart review today. And when we're doing that, I'd like to review a trade that someone pretty famous was kind enough to share with us on Twitter. And we'll see whether or not we can get from that trade anything instructive of what might actually happen. I'm going to think like a really bad trader, which is actually not too hard for me to do because it's my natural inclination to do everything wrong. I just have to do the opposite. So let's go ahead and look at some charts. Okay, so exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay. And that. Okay. So on February 28th, we were kind enough to and I'm not calling anybody out here. We've all been wrong before. That's fine. I don't necessarily think it's a great idea to go all in. So I'm really just demonstrating this as an example of why going all in can be bad, and then what would I have done had I gone all in there. So that's how we're going to know what's going to happen, because I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Well, I don't know. Level to level, da 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 da. Get that out of my brain. But yeah, I think this is what I'm going to talk about is going to happen. So get my big head out of the way if I can. Oh, this is just a screenshot. So anyway, okay. So anyway, I took the day that this happened, which, by the way, smart choice on his part. Doji candle, not too bad. Reversal, I like that. Back test the next day. What? Anyway, let me get off this to the actual chart. Oops. Well, let me look at weekly first. Oh my gosh, y'all. See, this is why I probably need to be a professional video person. But anyway, let's look what happened. Guys, this past week was not at all bearish. I don't know what y'all are doing calling the top up here. What? That's weird. Yeah, that doesn't look like a bearish candle to me. And for anybody who's ever said to me, why are you trying to call bottoms? Why are you guys trying to call tops? What's that? That's not bearish. That's not even a little bit bearish. Although it did bounce down from my financial crisis line. Which is this pink line here. And so last week, I don't know what that was. But anyway, these are my weekly pivots for this week that I'm watching. And we'll see what happens. This one sort of corresponds with that yellow shaded area. So let's go there to daily. Okay. Yeah, so looking at this in a little bit finer detail into the daily. Again, not my favorite candle on the end there, but not technically a hammer. So not even a dragonfly thingy, just kind of a not favorite candle, but not unfavorite candle. Anyway, I still don't know what people are doing calling the top over here. Maybe y'all are looking at some fib things I don't look at. I don't know. And maybe it is, but I don't see anything from my chart that would indicate that. Certainly can retrace here, go backwards and then forwards again. I just don't see anything that'd be like top. Do you? I don't. Anyway, okay, so what I'm looking at here from this yellow shaded area is the all-in thing. So now let's talk about this. Like I said, not a horrible place to have called a reversal here. Credit where credit's due in that way, because it's a support. I've had these lines on here forever, so it's a support. Look, it's held before and it kind of closed above that on this dragonfly. And it did a back test the next day even. That was kind. And then it went, and that might be a false breakdown here from below the musical note line. Very possible, because the musical note line, if you remember from my other videos, is like Fat Lady has sung if it gets below that kind of thing. So, I mean, not a horrible call. Okay, so what if I had gone all in here, and then you can see it's the next day it might have gotten a little pissy because it opened down, but then whoop, back up, and then back down, but still above probably where I went long, because that would be in this yellow shaded area. The next day, nice back test, whoop, the next day. Then I might start to wonder myself, is this a bear flag? I don't know. And then the next day, you can see it back tested these two little lines I've had, and then came right back up. So then I would have held it probably. If I'm talking about what I would do if I was a really bad trader, because first of all, I wouldn't go all in. Okay. Secondly, I wouldn't take the advice of anybody on the internet that's giving it to me for free. I would have to correlate, myself included, Anyway, I would have to just correlate that information with my information and then make my own best decision. So I'm just telling you not to take, not everybody who on the internet is good. Okay, anyway. So now if I was a really bad trader and gone all in here, probably would have held after this close. And then the next day, and then I would have been like, oh man, what do I do? And then it kind of teased me a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, this is still cool. This is still cool. And then, oh, terribleness happened. And again, if I'm really bad and I didn't have a stop and I'm just going off the internet, I probably would have held. And then I just would have started praying at around this area. I just would have been like, oh man, I am screwed. And then, so let's talk about it now. Whenever this did happen to me when I first started trading, I would make a trade. I might have a profit for a few days. I wouldn't take partial profit back then. Bad girl. Anyway, and then if it got red, I might just wait until it got green again. That's not trading, by the way. That's just like hoping and praying, living on a prayer. But anyway, so I expect that just because this is what happened had I bought, this is what would have happened had I bought here, I expect that it will probably back test this, I think it's the 50, let me just make sure. Yeah, the 50 daily MA, which happens to also correspond with my two little lines here, which happens to also correspond with the yellow shaded area, which is when we were instructed to go all in, or, you know, saying that he would have been all in. And then probably what would happen is, as soon as I got break even, I'd think to myself, should I sell this? And then I'd be like, no, I shouldn't, because I've waited all this time and now it's going to break the F out. So I would hold it. And then what would happen is it would fall the F down. And I'd be like, what? I could have sold it and I could have gotten my money back, but I didn't do that. And then what would happen is, right as I was probably about to sell here, it would start to go up again and it would retest it again. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Now it's going to go way the heck up there, right? And then what would happen is, it would go back down again. And then I would probably sell it because I would get annoyed and tired and think to myself, well, I freaking lost every opportunity I had. And then it would break the F out way above where I bought it before. I go, whoop. So that is one scenario. And that's a scenario I'm watching, because if I had been long here and I hadn't taken partial profit and I hadn't had a stop and I'd waited all this time, if it goes back and tests it, I think it'll come back down, go back again and test it, go back down, and then go whoop. That's just based on, if I were a terrible trader, what would have happened to me had I been all in, and I would have taken a loss here. So that's one scenario. Who knows what's actually going to happen level to level. Let's see if it can close above these lines. That would be great, and we'll go from there. But I'm looking for what is also called, that would be called screw the new trader-itis, but also some consolidation here that would scare somebody who actually went in all in here and bought. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? This could also be a dead cat bounce. This could also just go straight down from here. It's possible. Or it could actually just keep going. Nothing about this looks bearish at this time. So yeah, who knows? But I'm guessing we come up here somewhere in this area and start to see what happens. Okay. All right, let's talk about oil. Everybody's all excited about oil. Okay, this is the weekly chart, my weekly chart. And like I said, it finally started doing things that I liked. Not this past week, but the week before I was trading it. I don't think I traded it this past week because, again, it wasn't doing things I like. But let's see what happens on open here. I know there's some news. Not that I care, because who knows. But it was getting to a point. I mean, see, this is such a bullish candle, and then that's such a candle that it looks like it's just trying to shake people out if I look at it just from a 50,000 foot view. But let's look at a smaller view here. Okay, so this is my 4 hour chart. And somebody else was asking me in the comments what time frames I look at. That is an excellent question, and it depends on what account I'm trading in. But if I'm just if I'm trading in a, let's say if I'm trading my day trade account, I usually look at weekly to sort of get general direction so that I know that if I screw up, how likely it is that it'll unscrew up for me. Um, I will look at 4 hour for some general direction and also just swing type trades within whatever commodity or equity I'm looking at, and then I'll go to the 15 minute or sometimes even to the 5. I look at the 5 minute a lot because I'm like, I got the ADD, y'all. I got the ADD, and it depends on, it's weird, but some of my charts, I don't know if it's the same thing for you, but some of my charts are just better than other ones. Like my 5 minute chart can kick my 15 minutes chart's butt in some commodities and not in others. So I think 15 is usually what most people look at, but I don't know. I go down to 5 depending on how good my chart is. And I mean, I've tried to make it better, the other one's better, but anyway, okay. So oil got to this point where I think it was sort of make or break at the end of the day. I had a feeling that there might be some good news over the weekend, but I don't trade on my feelings. I wish I could. It closed, just it inched below, and after hours, just my dotted line here. I mean, it's above support, RSI support, so there's that. But to me, that was a little bit of a, yeah, I think this is going to happen, but I didn't know if it was going to happen, and I just didn't take the trade because I just didn't see high probability. I thought most likely, but that's based on feelings and not based on what I actually see. What I see here is possibly a bull flag. It's a little top heavy in the terms of the flag is a little bit large for the size of the pole. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? It's Easter. Okay. Anyway, it's a little bit bull flaggy, but it kissed the key here and then backed again, and then backed off of it, and I just wasn't comfortable making the trade. So we'll have to see what happens when we open on tonight and into tomorrow. And if I see a high probability chance to get long, if it looks like it's going to squeeze the F out, then I will definitely tell you about it if I'm watching it and not drunk off my butt. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would like it to be minimally above this pink dotted line. And then if it gets above the key, I'm probably going to buy it for a longer period of time, at least a scalp. But I think the key will be critical going forward, because I do think the key, because it's tried, it kind of falsely tried here, and it tried again. The next time it happens, I think it'll go whoop. Probably at least to this handy MA here, but we'll see. We shall see. So there's nothing wrong with waiting till you see a setup that you are comfortable with. That's what I'm doing. Or you know what? If it tanks, then I'll also look for a setup I'm comfortable with. Whatever I need to do in order to feel comfortable that I'm not just gambling and that I've seen the setup before and that it's high probability. That's what I'll do. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys, but that is my best scenario here, is to try to catch a scalp. If it does go up, try to catch a scalp over in here, or try to catch a knife over in here. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I really do hope it gets above the key line, which is 28.45. All right, now gold. Ooh. So okay, let me move this over in case my big ass head is in the way again. So you can see the inverse head and shoulders that I talked about a couple weeks ago, and then back down, kind of test the neckline. I talked about that, and whoop, right back up. And then what? It goes to the top pink line. Y'all, what? So at this point, if you are not in a gold position and you're feeling a lot of FOMO and you're like, what? Everybody else is in gold. Gold has outperformed everything this year. I'm just going to buy gold. Can I make a suggestion? But not financial advice. Making a suggestion here. You might want to wait until it closes above 1753.40, which is the top one of my pink bands. You know why? y'all know how I like my lines. There's no lines here. What? Wait, what? It's like line free space over there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if if gold closes above this really hard to get through pack of resistances, that I think it's going to go woo way the f up. So because of that, I would be leery of going along until that happened if you haven't already. Um, and I'm going to draw some ire for this, but it might be a good scalp opportunity to look for a short if it can't get above this. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. It's still bullish. I still own this in my investment account. They're still very bullish. Look, see, I just made fun of other people for calling the top of ES, and I'm like, oh, but this might be the top of gold. No, I'm not saying it's the top. I'm really just saying that there's a lot of resistance here. So if it gets above this, very, very, very good. If it doesn't, then we'll see where we can pick it up. We'll see where we can pick it up next. I might actually move the key line from this green over to this pink, because I think if it goes back below 1611.93, then it is a really good shorting opportunity. You don't have to short it up here, but what I'm saying is if it does fall below here, then it will probably go minimally, I think, to 1545 or so. That's a nice trade. That's a good trade. So, and it's close to being above. So I hope it gets above, because I'll be like, ooh, in my investment account. But we'll see what happens. And I would certainly love to scalp it too if it gets above that. But we'll see what happens. That's just what I'm looking at for this week. I'm going to change my key here. Oh, look, real-time charting, and save it. Okay, and now let's look at silver. Okay, not bearish at all yet, guys. That's like just really pretty right now. So tomorrow, these are the pivots I'm looking at for silver. Again, if it gets, it could certainly bull flag here, but if it does close below this gift line, don't know that's necessarily bullish or not, but if we can close above this wheelchair line, I think that's a good sign, at least for the next line to hit. I don't really know. It's kind of, silver's kind of wackadoodle right now. I've got some gaps outlined here, but it's kind of wackadoodle. So it looks like it did a little bull flag here, bull flag, and if it's going to do the same thing it did here, it probably should get to 1639 or so before thinking about whether or not it's going to go like that again and then reverse, or like that again and then go up. So it looks like I'll be watching 1639 if that happens, or like I said, if it gets below 15.149. Yeah. So let's talk about Natty. Natty, what? Actually, I thought I've had a pretty good handle on her so far. She's difficult, y'all. She's difficult. But I think what I'd like to see happen is, I'd like to see if she does keep going down, I'd like to see her bounce off of these MA supports here, or back down to the green channel again, and drive everybody insane. And if she does that, how annoying is this awful, awful commodity? But I kind of love her. Anyway, if she can get back above 1.833 tomorrow, then I'll bet you she McSqueezies a little bit. I'll have to actually watch this, because what I didn't like is she closed slightly below RSI support here. So I would like that to be a false close. I would like a false breakdown. I would like her to pop back up and go whoop, and then go all the way up here, which would be probably going all the way to the key, which is 1.985. that's what I would like to have happen. But as we know, I'm not ordering things. So that's pretty much it for the week. I hope this was instructive, and I hope that I thank you for. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that it was good, and I hope that I outlined a couple of trade ideas for you. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it, and I will see you around the internet. Okay, bye.